Well, a very good afternoon to you all on this first day of level 4 of our lockdown in South Africa. My name is Mark Long, rector of the parish of St Andrew in Newlands. One of the versicles that is part of the morning prayer that I'm using at the moment from Patrick Tuama's wonderful book Daily Prayer says the following: "Help us to embrace possibility, respond graciously to disappointment, to hold tenderly those we encounter. Help us be fully present to the day." I have a sense today that having been allowed out for some exercise, we really are wanting to break free. There's nothing like a taste of freedom to make us want more of it. And judging by some of the letters and things I see floating around social media today, we really have all had sufficient of being tied to our homes. Thankfully, more of us will be allowed out over the next while, but for most of us, we continue to live with the frustrations. And of course, this time is one in which really demands of us an ability to find the possibilities within the constraints we live, and also to have the wisdom to know what constraints we need to push against and what we need to accept at this time. Helping us to be, inviting God to help us be fully present to the day, I think is really important, as well as that request that He would give us strength to embrace possibility. But today, perhaps mostly, we need to really grapple with the disappointment that we have in not being able to enter back into the fullness of life. I've chatted this week a little bit about the importance of lamenting, certainly as part of my sermon last Sunday, that we need to just acknowledge really what we're struggling with. But also we need to move forward. And one of the challenges is what are the things we need to let go of? What are some of the things we need to build in? We've had time to reflect, and I wonder how that has impacted on us as individuals, but also as we reflect more broadly on our interaction with church and faith and life, as we hope for a time when we will be able to gather and interact more normally. What do we want that to look like, and what are we building in now to our lives that will really strengthen and focus that? Today in the Eucharist readings, we're in Acts and the story of Saul's conversion on the road to Damascus. Again, an importance of encounter with God. And a lot has to change for Paul. His perspective is radically moved in that experience. And from persecuting those that acknowledge Jesus as Messiah, as the Christ, he is now proclaiming Jesus as Messiah and Christ. There's another encounter, and that is with Ananias, an encounter with God and with Saul. Ananias, in that context, has to really overcome his own fear in terms of all the stories he's heard about Paul, and to respond caringly and lovingly as God is inviting him to do in that context. And so just in that space, a reminder that our encounters with God, our journeys with life, the encounters with each other on the journey of life, all require us to be open to having our perspectives changed, whether it's our perspectives of God and what God is doing in our lives and world, whether it is of each other and the perceptions we have of who we are, and the need perhaps to see each other with fresh insight and fresh perspective. So yes, encourage us as we grapple with an ongoing lockdown and the challenges of the coronavirus for our lives and our society and our economy. We continue to trust in God, particularly trusting that in the spaces in which God calls us, we will find the compassion and the strength and the hope that we need at this time.